All right, man. So, all right, look. I know a lot of people have been discussing this album. I know a lot of people have been discussing this Super Bowl halftime show as they should. Even just to look at some of the comments, right? Um, Somebody said, considering the beef with Drake started in March 2024, this is the longest funeral I've ever seen. Why is nobody talking about the camera quality? Samuel L. Jackson, Uncle Sam. Like, I'm glad some of the people in the comments get it. Winning a Grammy and doing the halftime show in the same week is insane. I don't think anybody's ever done it. Has anybody else done it? Like, I'm. Has anybody actually done the halftime show and won a Grammy the same week? I mean, the fact that Kendrick is the first rapper to headline to solo headline the Super Bowl halftime show is honestly applause enough because last year we was literally just saying is hip hop dead. Like people were literally saying, "Oh, hip hop is dead," and then Kendrick literally revived it with the help of Drake, obviously. But at the same time, it's just like he's on a run like no other. I've never seen no artist, no rapper, nobody have a run like this, and I love it. On top of that, with the he still has to go on a tour. He's about to go on tour, stadium tour. And then on top of that, he about to next year. GNX didn't even get nominated this year because it passed the submission deadline for the Grammy, so it's gonna get nominated next year, and he has the ability to pass Jay Z for the most Grammys as a rapper. Jay Z has 24, Kendrick has 22, which is a really good chance he could do it next year. Um, it's honestly crazy. I mean, it's hard to hate. I understand if your favorite person, if your favorite artist is Drake, then it might be a little easy, but you gotta respect it, man. Like the art, the time, the craft, the amount of music that was made in a short amount of time just from last year in March hasn't been a full year yet. Hasn't even been a full year. So I just want to give applause to that, man. It's just so much that people overlook. Okay, so Super Bowl performance, right? I think it's one of my personal favorites. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's one of the greatest of all time. I think I'll put it up there solely because of um, conceptual ideas and the stage. First of all, the stage design was designed after a PlayStation controller. Like, where my PlayStation? A PlayStation controller. Like come on, the buttons at the end, game over. Like every single little scene, all of the stars were going around the circle. The peekaboo was around the X. Like, come on, bro. Like the concept was crazy. Another thing, a lot of people was just like, well, I felt like he could have done more. Mind you, this is a rap performance. Most rappers aren't doing stuff like this on this type of production level. And mind you, artists got to come out of pocket for these Super Bowl events. I think people don't understand. Most people, I don't know if you don't know, then I'll get you hip. The Super Bowl does not pay you to perform. Artists or their labels have to come out of pocket, and the expenses can literally come up to $10 million. So you could literally recoup that with marketing, obviously, with people listening to your album and all that other stuff. But at the same time, it's just like artists, labels, whatever the case is, they have to come out of pocket for the production. So if you're like, oh, well, he could have done this, he's coming out of pocket. Mind you, yes, he's a rapper, but he's not a pop artist. I mean, he's on a superstar status, of course, but he's no like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just like, it's just the levels are different. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's broke, obviously, but I'm just saying it's just like the funds might be different. At the end of the day, though, for him to come out, at the end of the day, though, for him to come out and do what he, at the end of the day, though, for him to come out and do what he came to do, and do it in such a manner where he's giving out certain eggs, like he's putting some Easter eggs into it. It has a message. You know what I'm saying? The Uncle Sam thing, when he's talking about the culture and the division and the American flag, for a black rapper to come on stage and literally have an American flag divided and all black dancers, it is the fact that people are arguing about the set list and not paying attention to the message is honestly astounding. Like, I was just talking to my girl about this. I was just having a conversation about this, how people are lacking so much substance and critical thinking skills. Like, these days, it's honestly crazy. I made a tweet about it. Makes me want to follow me on Twitter. Go ahead. But it's just amazing to me how it just shows a lack of study in fine arts and the ability to comprehend and to analyze um, performance in a production like this, to where people can only sit here and think about their surface level. And I know the average person doesn't care about the message. Yes, but you should, because it's a reasoning behind everything. It's not just the fact that, oh, this person just up there dancing and blah 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 blah. Why don't you think, like, what are they trying to tell me? Like, why did they pick these colors? Why did they pick this set design? Why did they do this, that, and the third? And if you didn't understand the first time, cool, but go back and understand it for yourself. People are too busy arguing about, oh, he should have done this, Lil Wayne should have done this, and blah 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 blah. Do you know how hard it is to perform a halftime show as a rapper with breath control and no backing track? No backing track. You're walking up and down the field. He had more yards than Patrick Mahomes. Like, what are we talking about? So people got to understand it's levels to it. As a rapper, you have to have conditioning. People was making fun of him doing push-ups and all this other stuff. For him to be able to do stuff like that, you have to condition. Even Usher literally runs while he's on a treadmill. By the way, there's a website, I forgot what it's called. It's like Masterclass or something. I think it's masterclass.com. This is obviously, it's not sponsored. I think it's masterclass.com, and Usher has a performing masterclass on there, and he talks about how he runs on a treadmill while he sings so he can control his vocals and his breath control while he's performing. People don't understand the work it takes to do stuff like that. He probably does the same thing. He's probably rapping, the breath control. Most rappers would not be able to do that. Most rappers literally just stand on stage with a rag over there and a DJ just going back and forth. So it's just like, we got to give a round of applause and a credit where it's due, because we have gotten so far away from, I feel like we've been spoiled with so many great performances. We think everything should be like right here. Everything needs to have fireworks. Like, I don't know what y'all expected Kendrick to do. Like, you wanted him to have fireworks, parachute, do 6 back flips. Like, okay, if I was going to critique it, right, and be like, okay, it was great. One thing I would have added, though, at the end, or TV off, I would have had a marching band come out. The dun 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 dun. I would have had a marching band come out, and this is just the creative direction, like, mindset that I have. Like, I would have a marching band come out. The dun dun dun. Everybody have lights somewhere, and they're flashing in synchronization to the lights or whatever, and kind of doing that, like, where they intertwine and cross and spelling something on the field. That's a little old school, of course, and that might be out of budget, but that's something that I probably would have done. There's a video on there's a video on TikTok where somebody goes in and talks about the creative director. So, at least 1,000 people spent hundreds of hours working on the show, Free said. Dave Free, I assume they're talking about, from crew members to production designers, people like choreographer Charm LaDonna, who oversaw 110 dancers, and head of wardrobe Carissa Sanchez for inspiration. Free and Lamar watched every single Super Bowl halftime performance, drawing particular cues from Beyonce, Prince, and Michael Jackson headline show. For y'all to say this is trash, and for them to literally get inspiration from Beyonce, Prince, and Michael Jackson, like, y'all just capping. He literally got inspiration from these same performances. He said, the feel of it is Black America, Free said of Lamar's show. Like, what does Black America look like, and how to control that narrative, and what it means to be Black in America versus what the world's perspective of that was. Everything that needed to be everything has to be choreographed, even the unseen moments with the camera. Choreographer LaDonna said, the performance is televised, but it's also for the people in the audience, so every moment matters and it has to be right. Stages, 500 stagehands. Bruce Rogers, a production designer. His first halftime show being headlined with Prince, so the production designer that designed this also designed the Prince halftime show. Carts with equipment weighing about 3,000 pounds. Like, so I can keep going, but just to put it in perspective on how crazy and what it took to create this halftime show, you don't have to like it. Here's the thing. Music is subjective. I understand that, right? Everybody's not going to like the same song. Everybody's not going to like the same whatever, right? That's fine. That's not where I'm coming. Me personally, that's not where I'm coming from. And I usually come from an objective standpoint, right? But stuff has gotten too far. Like this discourse has gotten too far. I can usually agree to disagree, but now this is crazy. Like you don't have to like the music to appreciate the production and work it took to do something. For people to automatically say something is mid and trash and not understand what it took to get there, to do this, like it's just we got to stop doing that. We throw trash and mid on anything, but are quick to listen to our favorite artists and albums that don't even touch certain levels of musicality, artistry, or production. Like we got to stop. Like we got to have the ability to critical think and understand that just because I don't like something doesn't mean it's trash. It's just not for me. Like why can't we just draw the line in the sand somewhere? It's all these discourse and this and oh it's trash and blah blah blah. Okay, if the audio was bad, I understand that, because the thing is when it comes to audio, and I realized this because I originally watched this on my TV, right? And I thought the music was louder than his vocals. I literally I had a sound bar and I was watching the Super Bowl halftime and I thought the music was louder, or I thought his vocals was louder. I was like, yo, you got to turn the music up. I literally was like, why don't they turn the music up? But then when I heard it online, I was like, oh, his vocals sound a little behind the record or behind the music now. So I honestly think it depends on what you're listening to, because if you listen on AirPods, if you listen to the actual stream broadcast, or every channel has a different mix broadcast, whatever the case is. I don't think y'all realize how hard it is to mix a live performance so everyone across the world on every single platform and device can hear it the exact same. That is not easy. And not only that, for the people live to hear it. So you got two different mixes. You got a live mix for the people in the stadium, and then you got a mix for the people online that's streaming it. So, and they got such little time to perfect it. They probably didn't have a lot of time to sound check, plug up, and go. You don't have a lot of time to do that. So the fact that they did this on this level in this amount of time, bravo. Bravo. If you thought it was trash, honestly, I'd like to challenge your constructive criticism and your critical thinking skills. Honestly, I'm not saying you had to like it. I'm not saying that you don't have to criticize or question why Kendrick didn't do more hits or whatever the case is, which he did bangers. There were bangers, they just wasn't his old cuts. But he also did a lot of his old cuts when he did the Super Bowl with Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50, and all them. He already did Mad City back then, right? You know what I'm saying? So even though he did Humble then too as well too, but he obviously had an intention with this Super Bowl, and the fact that he stood up to do this message when not a lot of people would be able to do this is, I couldn't think of many people who would be able to do this, portray a message and a performance like this with choreography. Like we gotta give credit to where it's due. You know what I mean? So that's honestly my take. I saved some tweets. I bookmarked some tweets. Let's see. This type of media literacy is the reason Department of, all right. So I bookmarked some tweets. Let's see. This type of media literacy is the reason we need the Department of Education. They need to ban homeschooling. Like the fact that people just don't even. I've never seen more of a. Okay, hold on. Samuel L. Jackson was an usher at MLK's funeral and a literal Black Panther, and that seems important to point out to people who fully missed the point. I didn't even know that, but that's insane. He was an usher at MLK's funeral and a Black... Come on, bro. Like, look, the stage design. A literal video game. Beautiful. Beautiful.
His chain was a lowercase a, or in other words, A minor. Serena Williams...
That wasn't for A minor, by the way. That is the logo for PG Lang. It's the same logo for PG Lang, so that's not true. But I love the dissection. I don't even want to say an industry standpoint, but giving y'all a different perspective, because as a fan, I'm looking at it the same way a lot of other people are looking at it. But as somebody who also works in music and works in the industry and has been on stage, have been on tours, have produced for people in studios like Summer Walker's, Seventh Streeter, like you know what I mean? Like it's a different perspective to know the work that goes into it, and maybe people got to do a better job at showcasing these things, like the behind the scenes things that took to create these things. I think maybe that might give people a better understanding, like the Beyonce documentary when she was doing her homecoming. Like, a lot of people had more appreciation for Beyonce, especially when she was pregnant, because she was doing all that preparation. I think artists can do a better job at showing that. However, people need to do a better job at understanding that these things just don't happen, right? Concepts like this don't just, oh, we're gonna do this, bet it's gonna be easy. Tens of millions of dollars are coming out of artists' pockets. You know what I'm saying? It's so much time spent, so much energy, so much mental. It's just like, this is at a pinnacle of creativity, and for, I don't know, it almost scares me, and this is gonna be my last point. It almost scares me where we are going as a society when it comes to art, right? We've become, it's so many critics and not enough creators. And there's nothing wrong of people criticizing, but there's not a lot of constructive criticism, and it's not coming from a place where people can give it constructively because they don't know what it takes to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to just performances, understanding the breath control, understanding he's not using any backing tracks, y'all. Backing tracks are used in case you want to fall back and want to take, you rapping, you want to give some time away from the mic. He didn't have that. He had like the hook and whatever, but that is all him rapping. It is a rap performance masterclass. And if you can't see that, then I encourage you to do your own Super Bowl halftime performance, and then you do it better. Just go do it better. That's it. Just go do a halftime show and do it better. And that, I'm not saying that you have to be able to do what Kendrick Lamar does to criticize it, but at the same time, at this level, the criticism has become so crazy. It's just like, yo, people, like, and then again, another pushback. I don't think art would be art if people didn't give pushback. You know what I mean? I don't think good art would be art if people didn't give pushback. So I'm in the middle. So don't even listen to me. This is just my perspective. I'm literally figuring it out as I go, as I talk. I'm just ranting. But let me know what your thoughts were on the halftime show and on Kendrick Lamar, things like that. I know people wanted to bring the Lil Wayne situation off, and I love these artists at the same time. Me personally, I think Kendrick Lamar had the year of his life. I think he's in the prime. He's in a prime. I don't want to say he's in the prime. I think he's in a prime right now, and you don't want to stop that momentum. You want to give him as much TV time, airtime, as much momentum, as much juice as possible, because when you are fueling this type of creativity like that can move mountains, it can shift culture, and that's exactly what we do. That's exactly what he's doing, and we need that. We need art that can shift culture. We need music that can shift culture, especially hip hop, especially at a time like this. Y'all see who's president? Like, I don't even want to go there, but we need it. All right, so shout out to everybody that worked on the Super Bowl halftime show, man. Y'all killed it. Everybody that worked behind the scenes, Kendrick Lamar, and even the people who's giving pushback. Here's the thing. I love when people give pushback, and I love when we can have dialogue. It's important to have dialogue, and it's important that we can hear each other out. I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm just challenging people to listen to it and hear it from a different perspective, or see it from a different perspective. That's all. But y'all know what to do. If y'all enjoyed the little rant, the conversations, feel free to ask some questions, and I'll do a live stream or something like that, or a video where we could just talk about music, talk about whatever. Let me know what y'all want me to react to next, and I'm gonna go eat this Chipotle. So appreciate it. Y'all be easy. Much love. Deuces.